नमस्ते, खुश रहो बिटिया। I am JVN Dr. Devendra Kumar Gora, Assistant Professor in Faculty of Education, Jayoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Today, in this session, I am going to deal with Wordsworth's Preface to Lyrical Ballads. Preface to Lyrical Ballad by William Wordsworth actually begins with a kind of a discussion of the collection of the poems that are mostly written by Wordsworth and some are contributed by his friend S.T. Coleridge. Originally, this particular book was published in 1798 or in 1800. William Wordsworth added an earlier version of the preface, which he extended 2 years later because he felt his poems were of a new theme and style. William Wordsworth felt they needed an introduction. So, some scholars say that Coleridge wanted to write the preface but never got around it. So, the work fell to Wordsworth instead, as the majority of the poems in the collection are by William Wordsworth. So, this was probably a more appropriate choice, though there is suggestion in some of Coleridge's later writing that the two disagreed about what the preface should say. In the preface, Wordsworth writes that the purpose of the collection was to write the poems that deal with the things that happen in everyday life. Most importantly, William Wordsworth considered each poem in the collection to be experiment in a language usage or a kind of diction. He wanted to find out if conversational language could be used effectively in poetry or not. So William Wordsworth explained the first edition of Lyrical Ballad that was published as a sort of experiment to test the public reception of the poems, that the use of real language of us in a state of vivid sensation. The experiment was quite very successful, better than Wordsworth was expecting, and many were pleased with this poem. Wordsworth acknowledges that his friend Samuel Taylor Coleridge, S.T. Coleridge, supplied several poems in this collection, including Rhyme of Ancient Mariner. He relates that he and Coleridge wished to start a new type of poetry, and poetry of the sort seen in lyrical ballads. So Wordsworth notes that he was initially unwilling to write the preface as some sort of systematic defense of this new genre because he does not want to reason anyone into liking this poem. He also says the motives behind starting this new genre of poetry are too complex to fully articulate in so few words. Still, he has decided to furnish the preface, and his poems are very different from the poems of his age because they require at least a brief explanation as to their conceptions. So Wordsworth basically claims that as authors have a right to use certain ideas or techniques, they also have a right to exclude their ideas and techniques in every age. Different style of the poetry arises and people expect different things from poetry. He goes on to cite many great yet different poets of old, or like Alexander Pope. He Wordsworth wants to use the preface to explain why he writes poetry the way he is writing, so that people don't see his non-conformity as a laziness. So he relates that his principal goal in writing the poem in Lyrical Ballads was to portray common life in an interesting and very honest way. And he basically appeals to the reader's emotion by generating a state of excitement. He chose to depict common life instead of portraying elite life, because in the situation people are generally more self-aware and more honest. The feeling that arises in the conditions are simpler, more understandable, or more durable. Furthermore, the language of peasantry is pure, as common people are constant communication with the nature, far away from social vanity. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0 Jayoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you all are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment section, and all of your queries will be dealt with the end of this week through the digital session as well. Thank you very much.